Good morning, everybody. Morning, one and all. I'm what you need. We're doing a real quick video feed. So we're going to talk first of all, because I still look as if I'm tired. I just woke up a couple minutes ago. Um, we're going to talk about the effect that 5G 5G network is going to have on the environment, just very quickly. And then we're going to talk a little bit about um, boxing. We're going to talk about boxing, back-to-back fights. So these are the two topics we're going to talk about. One of them is not related to boxing that much, but still related to everything we're doing. So right now we're on most of the apparatuses and devices that we run on right now use the 4G network. Some people still using 2G, some people still using 3G. And all it just means is it's a particular frequency of radiation, a wave band technology that we're utilizing. So a lot of us were excited when 4G came out, and rightly so, because right now I'm streaming on 4G, and you can see it's a damn pretty good stream, and we can even get it better with better technology that can optimize the 4G. Anyway, it's a wireless technology. So first we started off with 3G, and all G means is generation. Okay, so the third generation of this internet, the third generation of the internet and the systems in place for that, for the transmittance of signals, was 3G. And then 4G was the fourth generation, which is a lot faster, bigger bandwidth, faster upload times and speeds and so on. And now we're looking at 5G. This is what is going to come on stream, and it's coming on stream in the United States via Verizon, which they're doing the high frequencies, but they can't cover a long distance. And we have also AT&T and the other popular telecommunications network, which is doing a lower wavelength and wide bandwidth. Okay, so broadband basically. And so those speeds are a little bit faster than 4G, consistently faster than 4G, about 2 times faster than 4G. You're giving you the peak 4G speeds, and they're giving you consistent. Okay. So what does this mean? Well, this is, 5G is going to revolutionize how we do everything. That means everything. We have smartphones, we have smart TVs, we have basically 4G, and they already can do this with 4G. They can see your daily lives because the phones, even when you turn off your phone, the camera on your phone can still, the GPS, the camera on the phones locate your location. So if they want to locate somebody and identify them, they can do a search on them and then locate them via their phone. But they're also using tracking devices on your credit cards, on products now. So there's a lot of things that are being tracked. Of course, you are being tracked online as to your preferences, and this is why you get certain topics that come up based on what you've been surfing the net doing. So you're being tracked all the time. We're all being tracked. But there's a downside to 4G, and even though the power of the frequency of radiation, even though the power of the frequency of radiation is not very high, and these are lower band signals, which is why they can travel so far, and you can travel to objects and stuff. Even so, the problem with it, by the medical research, has shown that the frequencies are somewhat irregular. It's kind of like the television. The television also emits a radiation frequency that's sort of irregular. As a result of that, if you turn off the TV, for instance, in the age of TV, when you turn off the TV, you actually felt a release in your body. That's because your electromagnetic fields, which are generated from your organs and your, biomolecules, whether at the molecular level or at the atomic level, they all vibrate with certain vibrational frequencies. These vibrational frequencies give off a particular field. They all in that field, because we also have electromagnetic currents that move through us through the nervous system. That's another thing. So they have vibrational frequencies, and we also have electromagnetic frequencies, which are carried via the nervous system, which has their own fields. These interfaces of fields cause us to have an electromagnetic field around us. This electromagnetic field that we have around us also is emitted in the light spectrum, as well as is also emitted in the radio frequency, emitted with a radio frequency. These are very, they say weak frequencies because of the wavelengths, but actually they travel very long distances because they are so weak. So as a result of this, we interface with these networks, particularly the Wi-Fi, and particularly radio waves, as well as electromagnetic waves from your electricity. Everything, the light bulbs, everything, we interface with these electromagnetic waves. But this is the thing about it. With particularly electromagnetic frequencies from the internet, via Wi-Fi, etc., and microwaves, they adversely affect our body, okay? They adversely affect our body because they are irregular electromagnetic frequencies. They pulse at a regular rate. As a result, it actually influences our body in a certain way. Now, how can we solve this problem? There are crystals or stones which you can use. You know, if you ever watch Hindu people or even religious people, they have this ring on their finger or amulet around their neck with a particular stone. That stone emits a particular electromagnetic frequency, or receives and absorbs and then emits a particular electromagnetic frequency. And these frequencies are what influence the frequency of your own body and can affect your mood, your state, your mind state, etc. But those frequencies are smooth. They're not irregular. They're very regular frequencies which help to sort of even out any irregular frequencies you may be emitting, whether you're sick or well. So these stones can actually cause wellness. They also can affect your mentality, your mindset, etc. And it's these crystals and stones that also can offset the irregular pulses from, say, for instance, a 5G network or 4G network. So what you guys need to do is get these stones. Now, I'm going to tell you one of them, but you can always do your homework and research online. They're rather cheap, actually. Black tourmaline. Go ahead and check out that. It's a crystal. It's a black crystal, and they sell it in health stores, you know, and wellness stores, or in crystal stores. You can find it in crystal. People who do naturopathics, organic crystals and that kind of stuff. So you can get it there. It's because of the composition of it, it emits a particular electromagnetic. You know, like how if you hit a fork or tuning fork, it gives off a nice smooth frequency. Well, this does that as well. Okay. So it's able to interface with the frequencies, say, for instance, of your phone, etc. You can wear it on you. You can also put it near to electromagnetic devices such as phones, your Wi-Fi area. You can also put it near to microwaves, etc. Okay. Now, microwaves, I don't have a microwave. I throw away my microwave because it's you know, reaches very far distances. It's powered up by like 700 watts. And when a microwave is on, it actually, you know, can really grossly affect you in a very negative way. You know, the closer you are to it, even worse for you. And they are much more instantaneous than these other frequencies, which can give you cancer over time. So I'm giving you all of this information so that you will be well informed, especially people in the boxing world who are healthy and etc. You can always check that out. And there's a lot more to it, but I will not talk about that right now. So I just wanted to give you guys how you can, especially if you are what we call EMF sensitive. That means you feel upset, you have headaches and stuff around electromagnetic signals. Some of you might feel that way. I feel a little bit of that way right now. Of course, drinking a lot of water around those frequencies also helps you because water is a buffer. Okay, but enough of that. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. And let's go into back-to-back tough fights. I was listening to a boxer who was being interviewed. Jamal Herring. He was being interviewed on Fight Hype. And Jamal Herring in the interview was talking about how, you know, boxers having, what really wears down boxers is difficult, hard back-to-back fights, tough fights back-to-back. And different topics came up of defense, that a fight could be exciting, but yet at the same time, is the fighter being defensively responsible? And that's a very important question to bring to the table, but it is really difficult for boxers to have back-to-back tough fights, which is why guys like Canelo, he'd take a tough fight, then he'd take an easy fight, then he'd take a tough fight, and then he'd take an easy fight. Easy fight for him, at least. Okay, maybe style-wise it'll be a difficult fight for somebody else. It fits into his forte, his skill set. Let's put it that way. So you find that you have to ask yourself this question: how many fighters in history have tough back-to-back fights in their careers, and did their careers last very long? And there are a handful of them. Okay, there are a handful of them throughout boxing history that have had tough back-to-back fights. We know that we've had fighters in history who have had many back-to-back fights on a regular basis, sometimes days apart, weeks apart. But if you really break it down, they have not had tough back-to-back fights with top contending guys. I think the only guy I can think of right now who was kind of like that was Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, just very select few people who actually did that. And then it gets really, really rare. In fact, there's no one actually in the history of boxing other than Floyd Mayweather who've had 8 championship fights back to back with current world champions. 8 in a row. No one in boxing history has ever done that. And some of you will say, well, because, back in the day, they didn't have a whole set of champions like they have today. Almost correct. Almost correct. The majority of those champions in those 8 back-to-back consecutive tough fights were either WBC or WBA world champions. And the WBC goes way back to 1922 as the WBA. They were not known as the WBC and WBA at the time. They were known as the NBA and the NYSEC. But nonetheless, those 2 belts were around since 1922 and 1923. 1921 and 1922. So I think other than Zab Judah, who was the IBF world champion by default, no one else that Floyd Mayweather faced, I think the exception of Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao was the WBO champion at the time too. But no one else other than that. But Manny Pacquiao doesn't even factor into that 8-fight winning streak, actually. Only Zab Judah. Okay? Now, the reason Floyd Mayweather was able to do that is because he was going up and down in weight. So he was going, I think he fought welterweight. This was in his welterweight run. I think it was welterweight, then he went to super welterweight, then he came back down to welterweight. I think that's how that went. And then he fought guys at lower weight classes or higher weight classes. Take, for instance, Ricky Hatton was the WBA, WBC, IBF world champion, but at junior welterweight. So that's how Ricky Hatton fit into that equation. While Manuel Marquez was the WBC champion at lightweight. So that's how he was able to fight all these WBC, WBA champions. He was going up and down in weight, pretty much, or fighting guys coming up to him, or, that kind of thing. So, but it's still crazy. The only other guy I think who, well, he doesn't do it because he was the WBC, WBA champion, even though I think he did do some unification stuff, was Muhammad Ali. But he did fight some tough fights back to back. In fact, I think I had him fighting like 9 tough fights back to back before I think he was stripped of his title or whatever. And then he came back and he did 6 in a row, tough guys. I'm talking top 10 guys. That's what I'm talking about, tough fights. Or I think he did like 5 in a row, I think, at a certain time. But the point is that that's very rare. And it's very taxing on the body. But the reason, and this is a key point, the reason these guys could actually do something like that, of course, they didn't fight. When they fought these tough back-to-back fights, they didn't fight, every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. So that's a plus right there. Just like almost every fighter in history, these tough fights generally happened, once or twice a year on average. But be that as it may, the point is these tough back-to-back fights, and as I said before, Floyd Mayweather kind of makes history, and nobody really realizes how good this guy really was. He fought, like I said before, 8 consecutive world champions. They were WBA, WBC world champions, except for Zab Judah. Okay, This period of time was between 2007, I think, and 2012. You know, he fought Zab Judah, then he fought Carlos Baldomir, who was the WBC welterweight world champion, jumped up in weight, fought Oscar De La Hoya, who was the WBA super welterweight world champion, came back down to defend his WBC title against the WBA, WBC, IBF junior welterweight world champion Ricky Hatton. Retired from boxing, came back to boxing. He was not a world champion at the time and fought the WBC lightweight world champion Juan Manuel Marquez. Then he went on to face the WBA world champion, welterweight world champion this time, Shane Mosley. Then he went on to face the WBC welterweight world champion, which was Marcos Maidana. Then he went, not Marcos Maidana, sorry, Victor Ortiz. Then he went on to face the WBA super welterweight world champion, which was Miguel Cotto. Then he went on to face, because he had vacated the WBA super welterweight title after he beat Oscar De La Hoya. And then he went on to face, and that's it. And that was 8 world champions, current world champions. They were actually world champions when he faced them. It's crazy. You know, when I think about it, it's like I can't explain to you guys how crazy difficult that is. Okay? But again, we have never really seen that in boxing. And these are all guys coming off of spectacular wins, except for Zab Judah. Again, Zab Judah being the exception. He came off a loss. But everybody else came off of a spectacular win. Not just one spectacular win, but several spectacular wins. As to show that it wasn't a fluke, you know. And this is why I say that Canelo, he should be facing Demetrius Andrade. And Demetrius Andrade coming off of the most sensational win of his career. Or not his career, but I mean a very sensational win, stopping his opponent, you know. Jamal Charlo also came off a very nice win. David Benavidez, Caleb Plant. You know, these guys came off of really great wins. So these are the guys Canelo should be hunting down, not, you know, Billy Joe Saunders got his guy stopped, but he wasn't as sensational as, let's say, Demetrius Andrade. You know what I'm saying? Tyrell Knox, what's up? Salute to you, my brother. Salute. Yeah. So, you know, I try to explain this to people, but like a lot of people are so averse to the name Floyd Mayweather that they're quick to tell me, like Tory Brown. Tory Brown quick to tell me I'm a Flomo, and I'm, you know, but he can't discount what I'm saying. George Foreman called Floyd Mayweather the best ever. He said he's the best ever. Ernie Schaefer has gone on record saying that, as well as Zab Judah, as well as Oscar De La Hoya at a certain point in time said, you know, he's the best, you know, possibly the best of all time. I can talk about a number of other people in the sport of boxing who are not boxers, but who have acknowledged that he is the best ever. And so people are talking about legendary fighters, but you also have to think about guys like Sean Porter says, I give him that. You know, Sean Porter knows a little bit of history of boxing. Kenny Porter wasn't quick to say that. A lot of people talk about Sugar Ray Leonard was better than Floyd Mayweather, but Roger Mayweather got up immediately and said, look, Roger Mayweather put it like this. He said, who was the last guy to knock out Sugar Ray Leonard? And of course, nobody knew. And he said, it was Hector Camacho. And then they said, well, Sugar Ray Leonard was old. He said, no. Hector Camacho was old too. Hector Camacho was old as hell. And the point behind it is this. A lot of people got excuses for when a fighter loses. What happens when a fighter doesn't lose? What do people do? They find excuses to say that they weren't all that. It may take many years for people to really take notice and appreciate Floyd's boxing career. Listen, man, this man made history. This man made history, though. You know what I'm saying? This man made history. Like, I'm not even mouthing the shit that everybody else be talking. This man made history. Okay? I don't think people understand. He's been rewriting the history books. And I'm not talking about Great Gate and all that shit. No, I'm talking literally boxing-wise. He's done things that nobody else in the sport of boxing has done. I look at Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is a great, let me just put it to you. I'm not even going to try and dispute this shit. He's a great fighter, okay? Great fighter, okay? But Manny Pacquiao ain't done that shit. He hasn't back-to-back fought 8 world champions and beat all of them. Not just face them, beat them. Manny Pacquiao's never done that shit. Nobody in the history of boxing has done that shit. Nobody. This is something I just brought up here that nobody has covered. Nobody has ever said that. His 2007 to 2012 run. In fact, nobody has faced 7 world champions back to back and beat them. Nobody. So if you guys want to say, oh, well, Zab Judah was a IBF world champion, well, fuck that. Fuck Zab Judah. Let's start with Carlos Baldomir and go all the way up to Miguel Cotto. Nobody's done that shit. Nobody. This is what I'm trying to say. I don't care how you slice it or dice it. And these are just WBC, WBA world champions. All of them up to Miguel Cotto. So they're legit. You can go through history. You can go from 1922 to now. Ain't no motherfucker done that. You see what I'm saying? And that's crazy. Okay? You know, the guy who has legitimately faced top tier guys, and again, Muhammad Ali did it, you know, but not in that way. Not that way. Like, because, you know, heavyweight division, just being a heavyweight, you can't have a whole bunch. Well, you could have a whole bunch of world champions, because I think Ali had a version of the heavyweight title. I think he had the WBA title the third time. So somebody else had the WBC. Okay? I think it was Piccolo or something like that. I think he had the WBA. But the point is that he never faced that dude. Okay? He went on and he defended his title, but he never faced that dude. And my point is this. My point is that, you know, a lot of people try to criticize these modern day fighters, not understanding the equivalency. Like, for example, Sugar Ray Leonard never had to win 3 belts to become undisputed. He won 2, the WBA and WBC. Undisputed was WBA, WBC since 1922. Okay, it wasn't called WBA, WBC was called NYSAC and the NBA. But the point is, that's what made you undisputed. It was 2 belts you had to have. That's why Sugar Ray Robinson, he won undisputed the first time. He was the NBA. He got the NBA version of the title. See, people don't know this shit. And he fought for a vacant title. People don't know this shit either. They want to talk about paper champions today fighting for a vacant title. But Sugar Ray Robinson fought for a fucking vacant title the first time he won the welterweight championship of the world. After 40 fights. But people don't know this shit. See? Because, like Roger Mayweather said, people don't know shit about boxing. They just don't know shit about boxing. And Roger Mayweather, guess what? He knew the history of boxing. He knew the game, the schooling of boxing. He knew everything about boxing. He was a well-informed motherfucker. Anyway, back to what we were saying, because daylight's coming on me. So, what I'm basically saying is that, you know, this guy is not, he wasn't on any kind of, he's not on our level, you know. And I've been doing boxing a little bit now for a while, a good minute. I know how fucking difficult it is. And, you know, like Eminem said, man, this is a tough sport. And guys like Mike Tyson, who perfected it, guys like Lennox Lewis that perfected it, you know, Vladimir Klitschko that perfected it. They were masters in what they did. You know, Muhammad Ali, oh my God, Muhammad Ali, you know, took it to a whole other level. And since that day, boxing hasn't turned back. If you love boxing, I'm not going to just talk about Floyd, because God damn it, Floyd ain't just boxing. But at the end of the day, right, you got to understand what these guys brought to the table. Muhammad Ali was not just a great boxer, he was also a great personality. He brought personality to boxing. I'm not saying that it wasn't popular back in Jack Johnson's time and all of that too, you know, because I heard that, what's his name, that heavyweight, the small heavyweight dude, he was something else too. He used to really trash talk like a motherfucker. Trash talking was since way back, then black fighters especially. But what I'm saying is, though, is that I'm saying that I'm not discounting these boxers. Y'all gotta understand, I love boxing. So if you love boxing, you're not gonna discount guys, and you're gonna show what they brought to the table. Up to this day, we still look at old school black and white film to be informed of how to conduct ourselves, especially fundamentally. What you guys keep missing is Floyd mastered the game of fucking chess. He mastered the game. He's the grandmaster of boxing, and this is what y'all don't understand. Y'all don't appreciate it because a lot of people out there are haters. They just fucking haters. Try to trivialize the dude. This man has made history so many different ways. Here's another one. Because people talk about how, like, Get the Smoke just ignorantly talks about how this dude, he just be trying to affiliate himself with the greats. He's not trying to affiliate himself with the greats. Man, this man has surpassed the fucking greats. Okay? Joe Louis. Now, I'm not just talking about undefeated streak. Fuck that. You could draw and be undefeated. Joe Louis went on a winning streak as a world champion for 26 fights. Hear me out now. Floyd Mayweather, if you include Shane Mosley, was on a winning streak as a world champion for 27 fights. If you include Shane Mosley, who was a world champion. He fought not 27 world champions. He fought 24, I think it is, or 25 world champions, something like that. That's what this motherfucker did. Listen, nobody in the history of boxing has done that. Y'all can make excuses how much you want because boxing as a sport has changed. Ain't nobody done that in the history of fucking boxing. Nobody. Y'all can talk about, oh, well, they were more belts available. That's excuses. That's not the point. The point is he did it. That's a fact. There's nobody else in the history of boxing has done that. Beaten 25, I think it is, or 25 or 24 or 23, something like that. World champions. That's never happened before. The closest thing to that is Roy Jones Jr., Sugar Ray Robinson, and Harry Kreb. I'm just calling history. I'm just calling history on y'all ass. Them the only guys. They faced more world champions than Floyd did. Okay? Not current world champions, but whether they were future or past or present world champions, that's what we're talking about. They faced more world champions, but they lost. They lost to some of them. Floyd has the bar for the highest amount of world champions beaten. That's in fucking 50 fights. This ain't no Rocky Marciano, ladies and gentlemen. This ain't, I love him to death, Wenyang Manny Austin. It's not him either. So it's not even fucking Julio Cesar Chavez, motherfuckers. Y'all need to understand, sorry about the cursing, but look, y'all don't understand what this motherfucker did. This is not just about being undefeated. Any motherfucker could be undefeated. This is about the quality of opposition this motherfucker faced and still remain undefeated. That's hella. Then he goes and he faces fucking Conor McGregor, right? He's an old ass man. Yeah, he the best boxer in the world still, people think. Even now, if Floyd comes back at 43, what is he, 43 now, 44? I think he's 43, right? I think he's 2 years my junior. This motherfucker is 2 years younger than me. And this motherfucker has become the greatest boxer of all time. Born in 1977, I'm born in 1975. This motherfucker is younger than me, man. Y'all not understanding. And you see how young I look, okay? And that motherfucker probably go till he's 60. Probably get his ass whooped at some point. But he can go till he's 60 and be competitive. And I'm not saying these younger boxers wouldn't beat his ass, because I feel that they would. But I'm just saying that Father Time always catch up with you, and then again, boxing is evolving. And I say it over and over. Boxing is evolving. These younger boxers have seen Floyd. They've seen him. And they understand it's chess, not checkers. So they will beat his ass. Somebody gonna beat his ass. Because boxing evolves, ladies and gentlemen. Boxing evolves. This is my theme all the time. Ain't Floyd Mayweather's not gonna be the best ever forever. Nope, that's a nice title, but he's not gonna be the best ever forever. Somebody gonna beat his records. Maybe beat part of his records and add something else to the boxing game. But I'm not discrediting the past greats. I've never discredited them. Y'all started poking holes in Floyd Mayweather's career, so I started poking holes in their career to bring you guys down to size. Because you worshiping guys that, you know, you give a pass to, but you ain't giving passes to the present guys. And I say the present guys, not just Floyd Mayweather. He just so happened to be, you know, one of the best examples for me to pull from that just don't make no damn sense. The man has done everything that's necessary for the sport of fucking boxing, broken records and shit, and in every single fucking metric he has done it. And yet y'all won't give him the credit. Y'all hating on this motherfucker for being so good? It just don't make no damn sense to me. You should be praising this dude. Y'all kissing the ass of guys you never even seen live. You motherfuckers never saw Sugar Ray Robinson live, most of you. I was fortunate to see Muhammad Ali's latter part of his career, and you know, not the early part, because I didn't see it live. I saw some of it live on television. Was watching the live stream, live feed. Phenomenal motherfucker. Still to this day, I look at some of the things he does is phenomenal. I'm not gonna put down Muhammad Ali. I'm not gonna put down Roberto Duran. I don't do that. But when you ask me to compare these guys, I say the mythos of them. I've said it. I've been so consistent with this shit. I said the mythos of them, that you guys hold them up in high esteem, is different to the reality of them. My channel has been consistent. I've been one consistent motherfucker from the beginning of this game. All right? I've been very consistent. You guys overcompensate for your hate for other fighters. Your whole reason for denying Floyd being TBE is because you don't like him. That's it. And we know this because when we start putting down numbers and metrics and we start talking about the history this motherfucker has broken, y'all have no reply. None. All of y'all. And that goes for all of y'all. We got some old ass, hating ass legends out there that don't want to give Floyd the credit because they jealous. Because this motherfucker got everything. He got the money. He beat ass. He broke records. He got it all. And y'all hating ass don't like that. So deny him TBE. You can't deny him TBE. What, you could deny him as the greatest? That's based on opinion. But you can't deny him TBE because that motherfucker did it via facts. He showed you, if you put him in the ring with me, I'll whoop their ass. That go for Muhammad Ali. That go for Sugar Ray Robinson. That go for Sugar Ray Leonard. He gonna whoop their ass. They gonna get beat. That's what TBE means. I'm the best. It's not about exciting fights. It's not about that shit. You put him in the ring, I'm gonna get the W. That's what TBE means, motherfuckers. It's not your opinion. And he put up stats to show you what he do. In terms of plus minus ratio, nobody in the fucking history of boxing comes close. Nobody. So how you gonna knock his ass out and you can't even touch his ass? And he be tagging you up. How the fuck that happens? You put down facts on these motherfuckers. And y'all was fortunate to be there, existing in an era of Pacquiao, Mayweather, Marquez, Cotto, fucking Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya. We know, the greats are always been greats, right? And some of y'all was old enough to see Tito. Roy fucking Jones Jr. stayed in the game long enough so y'all will remember him. Go look at his fucking highlights. James fucking Toney. Man, what is wrong with you people? And you don't praise these people. Yeah, Roy got, knocked the fuck out later on in his career. These are great people, man. They don't get the credit they deserve. Roy is an incredible mind in boxing. I'm just being real with you guys because a lot of people just don't understand. If you love the sport of fucking boxing, you're going to love these guys. But if I have to rate them, I love them. I love Sugar Ray Leonard. This man is the guy that brought pay-per-view to the smaller guys. Made the smaller guys relevant in a big way. Sugar fucking Ray Leonard. Started his own promotional company. Went into aerobics and shit. Got people really interested in boxing. Floyd's the one now that got people interested in boxing. Still to this day. They can't keep his name out their mouth. They be negative towards him. A lot of negative things are happening in his life right now. With Yaya and his wife died and Roger gone. You know, it's crazy up in his life. But he can handle it. But the question is not that. The question is this. Do you guys appreciate if fucking Roy Jones, let me be real. I'm going to be real with you guys right now. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to be real right now. If Roy Jones Jr. had that Kyle Kazaki skin, if he was white, oh my God. If Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker was white, oh my God. Mainstream would have picked him up even more. Look what happened with Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya blew away everybody because he had that complexion. Tyson Fury, sloppy as fuck, but great boxer. He don't have the skills of a Mayweather. He don't have the skills of a Whitaker. Oh, sorry, let me change that. He has some of the skills of a Mayweather, some of the skills of a Whitaker, but not honed and refined and sexy like those guys did it. They had the flair, they had the pizzazz. They look smooth, they look beautiful, they look pretty when they did this shit. Come on now. Fury looked more herky-jerky, but he get it done. Right? Look at how the world loves Fury. And he say the same controversial shit like Floyd does. He say controversial shit on a regular. Right now there's a controversy with him. But do you love him? Even I love him. I love Fury. God damn it, he's charismatic. I love the dude. He make you think. He brings something to the game that's lacking. Do I love Deontay Wilder? Fuck yes, I love Deontay Wilder. He brings to the game entertainment. But y'all hate on Wilder, who doing the same fucking thing Fury doing. They cut from the same motherfucking cloth. Why do y'all have to tear down Floyd? Because he's black? I hate to say it, but it's true. Because he's black, you tear his ass down. Yeah, he a bit annoying, but so is Tyson Fury. How the fuck y'all ain't tearing Fury's ass down? How come y'all ain't hating on Fury right now? So I don't like it. I remember there was another guy, black guy, talking about how Vladimir Klitschko is, you know, he could be TBE over Floyd. I was watching that, this shit this motherfucker be saying, and I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck are you talking about? Because he being undisputed. I said Klitschko face anybody on the level of a fucking Pacquiao. Anybody on the level of a Juan Manuel Marquez. Where is this Juan Manuel Marquez? Where is this motherfucking Shane Mosley? Where is this Oscar De La Hoya? Where is this Miguel Cotto? Where is his Gennaro Hernandez? Where is this fucking Diego Corrales? Where is this fucking, I mean, I could go on, Jose Luis Castillo. I mean, come on. Did he face people like that? And the answer is a resounding no. And the motherfucker never became undisputed. He tried to, but he never became. So people rate undisputed. I've said this over and over. Roger Mayweather, I mount Roger Mayweather's theme. It's not just Roger Mayweather that said that. Eddie Futch said that. You know, fucking Mike McCallum. Any other old school guys will tell you. It is not the belts you get. If you want to be a belt collector, be a belt collector, like Gennady Golovkin was trying to be. It is who you face and who the fuck you beat. It's always going to be that. It's always going to be that. And he said that when Adrian Broner lost to Marcus Maidana. All right, and that's my fault with Terrence Crawford. You're shouting to the mountaintops, and then when the opportunity come in front of your face to face a Shawn Porter, to face a Kell Brook, they want to face you. Well, not Shawn Porter. He didn't necessarily say that, but you should be chasing his ass. Errol Spence. I don't understand. You want to get Errol Spence, you can't get Errol Spence. So you're gonna shoot for a dud, motherfucker? You're gonna shoot for a dud? And I'm mad at Canelo. Canelo talking about Demetrius Andrade. He boring. What the fuck you talking about? He the best. He the best right now out of your selection. He better than Kovalev. And y'all know this shit. Okay, so he been facing people, but he really can't get fights. If he could get a fight right now with a dude, he would take it. He really can't get fights. But Terrence Crawford's got fights available to him, and he ain't taking it. Demetrius Andrade be chasing down everybody. If he could get a fight with Jamal Charlo, he would take it. He would take whatever they give him. People, you gotta wake up, man. What the fuck? I'm not just picking Demetrius Andrade because I like him like that. I see the truth. So I'm telling you guys the truth. I've been telling you guys the truth since last year. They ought to wait till the thing come to pass. Then y'all be like, yeah, you know, what you were saying was true. I'm like, if you got two eyes, you would see it too. If you wasn't all up in the biasness and trying to defend fucking Canelo. And don't do like Floyd was immune from my criticisms. I criticized him for facing Andre Berto. Okay? Y'all must remember, man. Nobody escapes it because boxing is bigger than any fighter out here. Let me answer the corrects to you guys, man. Because, man, if you guys really love boxing, you really fall in love with this thing. It's a beautiful thing, man. If y'all really love boxing, man, you know. Terrell Knox says it may take many years for people to really take notice, appreciate Floyd's boxing career. Kind of like how everybody hated Ali until he carried the torch for the Olympics. Exactly. And Ali was a fucking phenomenal fighter for his time. He revolutionized the sport of boxing. He revolutionized the fucking sport of boxing. I feel you, but most boxing fans, even hardcores, are not purists. Though that's the problem. It turned into a popularity contest in which it's unfair for Floyd because his bad guy image turned everyone biased. Exactly. But at some point you gotta point out that there are just less belts back then. Just how people say, man, he did what no man did by 8 division champ. When back then there were less weight classes. Okay, so let me break that down again. Because I already addressed this. You see, there were not less belts back then when I'm talking about the winning streak. We could just go with seven consecutive world champions. You can't, what are you gonna say? Like I said before, there were 2 belts back then. From 1921, I think it's the NYSAC came out in 1921, and the NBA came out in 1922. The 2 belts put together made you undisputed. Okay, it wasn't just you was undisputed out of clear blue sky. Also, I think it was somewhere in the 1930s or thereabouts, we had what was called the junior welterweight title. And at some point, I think it was before or after, I can't remember, there was also the super featherweight known as the junior lightweight world title. Okay? In fact, a guy called Maxie Bear, I think it is, from Canada, actually a guy who Sugar Ray Robinson beat, he was a junior welterweight champion. All right? So that's just for you guys to know. Remember, Sugar Ray Robinson was in the 1960s, 1940s to 1960s. So he was pretty much actually quite modern compared to the other guys that most people talk about who were in the 1930s and 1920s, okay? They had to go all the fucking way back then, okay? Now, in the 1970s, 1980s, and so on, we already had 2 belts and we had 3 belts. And we had more divisions. We had the super welterweight division. We had more divisions, okay? Super featherweight was there and so on. So modern boxing today has more divisions. Yes, that might be the case. But the truth is, these modern divisions, actually because fighters come in so much bigger now, the fact is what we end up with is mismatches, a lot of mismatches. We can have a guy come in at 165 pounds facing a guy who's 148 pounds, like with Marcus Maidana versus Floyd Mayweather, with Canelo versus Floyd Mayweather, with Manny Pacquiao versus, well, actually Manny Pacquiao came in around about the same way, but Margarito and Pacquiao, for example. So one guy completely outweighs the other by like 15 pounds, 16 pounds, shit like that, okay? And only in the time, like Sugar Ray Robinson versus Jake LaMotta used to happen back in the day. The discrepancy in weight was not that great unless you was like a heavyweight. And even then, it wasn't that great. Okay, guys usually try to put on the size to match the other guys. But my point being this, that a welterweight today, Sugar Ray Robinson would be a welterweight today. He wouldn't be a middleweight. Or he'd be a true middleweight. And the middleweights that he'd be facing, like Gennady Golovkin, like Canelo, like, Gennady Golovkin is considered a small middleweight. He come in on fight night close to 170. Canelo come in 175, 176. So they outweigh him by like 15 pounds, which means it would be like a fight between him and Joey Maxim, I think, versus him. It would be another Joey Maxim versus him, except these guys would be much more faster, quicker, agile. He get his ass beat. He get his ass handed to him. If a Canelo face him, Canelo walk his ass down, knock his ass out. He'll get knocked the fuck out. Okay? I'm just being real. Triple G would walk his ass down and kill him. Okay? Because you saw what Triple G did to Kell Brook. I'm talking broken orbital bone shit. Okay? Sugar Ray Robinson, great fighter and all that shit, but he get beat up. He get fucked the hell up. Okay? Because these guys are so much bigger. And then they quick too. They're strong and quick. And then they have the high guard. And he didn't do too well against guys with the high guard. Gene Fullmer walked his ass down, knocked his ass out the ring and shit like that. So, Sugar Ray Robinson was great for his time, like I said before. No disrespect to Sugar Ray Robinson, excellent fighter, great boxer, great fundamentals, and had some ring savvy, some ring smarts, but still, to be able to beat these guys today called for a little bit more advanced stuff than just those fundamentals and just the power, because he depended on power, speed, quickness, some pivot work that he had, some nice pivot work he had. But that motherfucker would have to run for 12 rounds. Like you'd be on the back foot against Triple G, because he's not gonna walk Triple G back. Now he had a pretty decent punch, okay, so he had some good, respectable punching power. But these motherfuckers know how to handle that now. Triple G know how to roll with that shit and take the steam off of it. And so does Canelo. So I see the bigger guy killing him. No disrespect, but he gonna have to be on this bicycle for the entire fight. Cause he didn't do close turn pivots. So you see Floyd, this is why I had to go back to Floyd Mayweather. You motherfuckers don't understand. Errol Spence and Floyd and Devin Haney, fucking Gervonta Davis, they do what we call close in tight pivots. And the only way to describe that is it's part of infighting, but they also use it on the outside. And the pivot work is very fucking precise. Sugar Ray Robinson did not necessarily do that. Okay? Neither did Sugar Ray Leonard. See, I'm talking skill, motherfuckers. I'm talking skill. I'm breaking the shit down for you. Okay? It's also, Floyd and Sugar Ray Robinson didn't necessarily jab the same way either. Floyd had a lot more variety in how he would implement the jab, and he would implement it with feints. Sugar Ray Robinson was basic. He did the basic, when it comes to the fundamentals and the fundamentals of the jab and the timing and the rhythm and all that, beautiful rhythm and everything, nice little feints in there and stuff, but still fucking basic. You understand? Floyd do a lot of shit that he do eye feints, head feints, shoulder feints, hand feints, He do foot feints, but not just foot feints like stepping in. He could lean in. He could lean and shift his weight in as if he's gonna come at you. He could change levels as if he's gonna come at you. All of those are feints. So he had a lot. Here's what we call a system of fucking feints. I studied this motherfucker to try and beat his ass. That's why I said he's so good. I studied this motherfucker to figure out how I could beat his ass. All right? That's why when it comes to Floyd Mayweather, I think he's the best ever because I know how to beat Sugar Ray Leonard. I know how to beat Lomachenko. Right? Execution is key though. I know how to beat Bernard Hopkins. You see what I'm saying? I'll be honest with you. I'm not quite sure how to beat Andre Ward. I've seen how there's certain ways to beat him. You got to deny him the inside or set it up so you could have the advantage over him on the inside. You got to keep the lower ground on him. So you have to be shorter than him so that he don't get to really muscle you around. You have the lower ground so you could pivot him around you. You want to have the low. But I still not quite sure how to beat him because he also, not only is he very physical, but he also is very strategic in the shit he do. Now there's things he can't do, and he'll tell you that. He don't know how to check hook. He get hit every time he check hook. He'll tell you that I need to close the distance sometimes by changing levels and really just skipping in or shuffling in very quickly. Whereas a Mayweather or a Canelo, they work their way in methodically. They don't just speed in, okay? But even so, because of his size and just the way how he's built and then the way how he's able to fight inside, it kind of makes it kind of difficult to deny him, especially if you're smaller than him. So it's something that Andrew will get to the inside. The question is, how long will it take and how long can he stay on the inside? You know, those are always the questions. But he's always looking to get on the inside. He can box comfortably on the outside, don't get it wrong. But he uses the jab a lot. He uses the jab a lot. And that's his go-to punch. Sugar Ray Robinson also used the jab quite a lot. And when you're using the jab that much, you know, everybody say use the jab, using it. When you use it that much, it makes you kind of fucking predictable. People can pick up your rhythm. You know, little spots of your rhythm, and that's not good. You don't want to be predictable. You know, one of the things I liked about Golovkin, and he uses the jab a lot as well, is how, you know, and Klitschko, and Sugar Ray Robinson, and Sugar Ray Leonard, and the guy I just mentioned, Andre Ward, they were not very predictable with their jab, and they mix it up. But at the same time, you want to be able to put away that jab like Roy Jones Jr. would do, and just simply ambush the fighter. Leaping left hooks, untelegraphed rights to the body. So sometimes they expect you to jab to the body, you feint the jab to the body, come with a right to the body, all right? Or you feint the jab to the body, come with a right over the top, a right hook over the top. You know, or you feint the jab to the body, and then you come with a jab to the head. You know, a spare jab to the head, shifting off the pivot, off the front foot. You can pivot off the back foot, back off a bit, come sliding in with a jab to the body, come with a right over the top to the head. See what I'm saying? They all kinds of little tricks. Of course, every time you do that, what does Roger Mayweather say? You roll in, you roll out. You roll in, you roll out. You slide in, you roll out. You slide in, you roll under. Pivot off to the right. And then if you're on the weak side, you take advantage of that. You take advantage of that. You see what I'm saying? So if you could understand the game plan, see, there's always, you got to have a game plan for a fight. Anyway, let me go back to the comments that everybody be saying, because you guys been talking away. And then I got to get out of here. It's almost an hour. And again, I'm only talking about Floyd Mayweather because he's the gold standard. No doubt he's the gold standard because everybody talk about him. Whether you talk good or bad about him. Now, a lot of people try to minimize what he do. He's a fucking gold standard. Okay? He's the gold standard. I'll never call him the greatest of all time. But God damn it, I'm going to call him the best ever. Until somebody betters him. Does better than him. And I'll put up the stats, and I'm not going to say the same thing. They the best ever right now. They the best ever. Then you motherfuckers gonna come to town on me and say, oh, no, Floyd's the best ever, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, fuck no. This person surpassed it. Why is that a problem? I never understood. Let's go into it. Tal Knox says, I'm not taking anything away from Manny, though, but I just think people overpraise him. I mean, you know, I praise Manny for what he is. I'm not going to, I just deal with what is, and he's a great fighter. You know, I just deal with what is. You know, his Keith Thurman fight really impressed me. You know, he shocked the whole world by dropping Keith Thurman. Nobody thought that was ever possible. That's like how Tyson Fury shocked the world by knocking out and dropping Deontay Wilder. You act like it's just Floyd, though. History shows that any confident black athlete winning fights gets hated throughout their career until they die. No, I agree with you 100% on that. I never said no. Perfect example. The great. I'm not talking small great. The great Jack Johnson, to this day, to quote Deontay Wilder, to this day, he don't get the credit he deserves. They still trying to blacklist this motherfucker. But oh my God, man can stand right in front of you, can't hit him. He be laughing and just you stand right in front of you, can't hit him. Have you guys seen Jack Johnson? You guys should go watch him. Now it's old footage, so you know what I'm saying. I don't lose praise for these guys. Okay, and you know what the funny thing is? Jack Johnson learned slickness from a white fighter. That's right. He learned it from a white fighter. But he turned out to be a hell of a fighter. Hell of a heavyweight. Before his time. Let's not get it now twisted now. Let's not so love Jack Johnson that we say, oh, he could take on Deontay Wilder, or he could take on Tyson Fury, he can beat them. That's kind of pushing it, don't you think? The guys back then fought a little bit different to the guys that fight today. So that's where I put things in context. I understand legend. I understand legacy. I understand mythos. I understand where it comes from. That's why some fighters don't like to compare eras. Because you hear Buddy McGirt say it's a different time. It was a different time with Julio Cesar Chavez. Then he turns around and talks about how Sugar Ray Leonard would whoop Floyd's ass because he could fight. And it's like, Sugar Ray Leonard's time was a different time to Floyd Mayweather's time. And I think Sugar Ray Leonard understands that, you know. And the reason everybody feels Sugar Ray Leonard would beat Floyd is because he beat his father. You know, and you know his father taught Floyd a lot of what Floyd takes into today. But Floyd was beating his father's ass as a child. And there's video footage of Floyd whooping his father's ass, actually. There's actually video footage. Little kid whooping the ass of a big grown man. His father made a fucking fighting machine that surpassed him and all of his brothers. Fucking the Black Mamba. You know, Roger said, yeah, I sparred Floyd. When you got, oh my God, I want to stop talking about that. Because I think a lot of people just don't understand. They just don't understand. This kid is a prodigy. All he knew and all he was trained and raised to know was that he would be the greatest thing ever, right? That's all he heard. His father was so severe on him growing up. All he knew was a boxing fucking ring. He knew nothing else. That's a different life. Sugar Ray Robinson took up boxing later on. I mean, it was a fad. Everybody loved boxing back then and stuff. But this motherfucker had no choice. Floyd, when he was a little baby, was punching shit. I don't think you guys understand. It's different. It's just different what we're talking about here. You know, it's different. And I mean, the only way you guys are gonna appreciate what I'm saying. So yeah, but Floyd, why I speak about Floyd now, Jack Johnson, obviously, they made laws against this motherfucker, okay? That's why when Chris Bird was talking about how, you know, he doesn't consider Floyd the greatest because of what these guys socially had to go through. Jack Johnson was ostracized. He was exiled from the United States of America for the Mann Law, which finally Donald Trump overturned so many years later. In fact, Joe Louis, who came on the scene, the next great black heavyweight, he had to conduct himself in a manner opposite to Jack Johnson. Amazing, eh? They wanted to expunge Jack Johnson from the records because he showed everything that a black man, the stereotypes of a black man that white society wanted to have. He knocked every fucking stereotype down. What were the stereotypes? That black people were animals. Jack Johnson went in there and played chess, not fucking checkers. And he used to laugh as he's whooping at these guys' ass. And the white guys looked like savages and animals. And then the ultimate sport was boxing. He became the ultimate jock, and all women loved him. All white women, black women, everybody wanted a piece of Jack Johnson. Okay? Everybody. He basically emasculated the white man and his perception. He fucking sterilized him. That shit did not rock with white people. And they was lynching black people and all kinds of shit back then. Fucking Jack Johnson, man. This is the turn of the century. Motherfucking Jack Johnson. Bad motherfucker. So I understand why Chris Bird said that Jack Johnson, you know, the amazing thing about Jack Johnson was he was even rejected by his black community for all of the hardship that they started to experience because of his win. Because when black society started celebrating Jack Johnson's win over the Great White Hope, not the Great White Hope, Jim Jeffries, when he beat Jim Jeffries' ass, and Jim Jeffries was a dominant white heavyweight, when he beat Jim Jeffries' ass, there was ruction. The black people started celebrating and the white people started lynching. And I'm talking about the white man. They started lynching people. Because it exposed the white community that black people were not inferior to them. And it's beautiful that Tyson Fury whooped Deontay Wilder's ass because it came full circle. What it showed is that, well, Tyson Fury doesn't think of it as race, but it showed that anybody who is a student of the craft of fucking boxing and commits their life to it could be anybody else. I love it for that. You know, I'm not a racist, and I don't ascribe to racism. So I don't believe that white men can't jump, right? I don't believe that white people are inferior to black people. But because these motherfuckers put us down, and not all white people. I know some of you guys are white that watching my channel. I just call white people motherfuckers, but I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the hateful ones. And again, I understand. It's a misunderstanding. They just don't understand. But a lot of these motherfuckers, man, black people bring swag. Swag is a black term, motherfuckers. Jazz is a fucking black music. Now, yes, white people had a contribution to it, and bluegrass and all that shit, and the black people used it. But the swag, the fucking swag came from black people. Now, I'm not saying that white people don't have swag. I've seen, you don't have to tell me, I've seen white people with big asses and all that shit, and I've seen white people talk deep and all that shit, women and things. I get it. In the South especially. Everything's big in the South. My point is not that. My point is, black people have contributed so much to the American culture. What makes America so attractive has to do a lot with the black community in America. They brought a lot of fucking value to the entertainment. Otherwise, it would have been boring as fuck. Okay? But they're not acknowledged for their contributions. And to this fucking day, they have not given them land and compensated their ass for slavery. And to me, it makes no fucking sense. I'm just gonna go there. I wasn't born in America. I was born in the Caribbean, where there's cane fields and shit. I was not born a son of a slave either. Okay? My ancestry runs back to the Creoles. Some of them owned plantations. Okay? But I, personally, I'm a Sephardic Jew as well, which is weird shit. Portuguese. I come from Portuguese background. So I have Jewish blood in me. But nonetheless, my point is that, and I'm also the son of a freeman. So I don't know if you guys know who the Freemans are, but Freemans talk their minds, okay? And no one can stop them, okay? But that's a whole other story for another day. But yeah, so I'm the son of that. But it make no fucking sense why you haven't compensated these people. All right, and they have all right to be compensated because everybody else who went into America has gotten land. Even the Native Americans have been compensated and they got land. Why is it that people who have descended from slaves have not gotten their fucking land and been compensated for all the hard work they did? You should have compensated their ass right after that. But no, slavery wasn't economical anymore, so you kick the slaves off. Hey, if you want to stay and get a little paycheck, a little wage, fine, stay on the plantation. Yeah, massa, I'm cool, man. I'm good here. You know what I'm saying? That's what they were looking for. But for the motherfuckers who was bitter, I'm like, fuck you, massa, and give me my fucking land. Because there was some. I read the journals up in the States. I read the shit. And all kinds of shit used to go on in slavery. People don't talk about it because it's not part of the core history, but a lot of shit went down in slavery, I'm going to tell you that. And some of it was unfair. Because there actually were guys on cotton plantations who were actually good owners. It's some real crazy shit out here. And the slaves used to actually roll with them. It's small plantations, but nonetheless, and they used to struggle. And it's interesting hearing all the individual stories and accounts because a lot of people think slavery was just one way and stuff, but actually it was interesting. That's all I'm going to say. It was very interesting. You know the term nigger lover? That shit actually happened because of certain plantation owners who actually used to treat the slaves fairly. So not everybody approached slavery the same way. There was a blueprint on how to do it from a guy from the Caribbean who actually gave them the blueprint. It was a Creole owner. So that's some crazy ass shit right there. But at the end of the day, you know, it's interesting. We really started to read the individual accounts. I was able to go into a library, you know, in the States and actually read up on this shit. And the shit is crazy. You know, I went to several universities and several different libraries and checked it out. You know, it's crazy, man, because I had to do some research for it. And shit, it's just crazy. Slavery was an interesting time, you know. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So yeah, this shit been going on for a long time, Terrell. I'm not trying to like say that it's limited to Floyd, but he just one of the recent victims of it. You know what I'm saying? They did it to Roy Jones Jr., subtly, HBO, Larry Merchant, and not so much Jim Lampley, but Larry Merchant was doing it. He was hating on black fighters, you know. And people say, well, oh, it was a certain style and shit. Nah, not really. Black fighters. You know, turned on Pernell Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker should have been praised. He should have been as great as Julio Cesar Chavez, if not greater, because he whooped his ass. Never happened. You know, and my point being that to this day, certain propaganda that, you know, boxing is primitive and boxing is all about, you know, blood, guts, and gore. To this day, we still got that shit being said. And it's interesting because, you know, people who are racist would like to say that people who don't have the complexion, who are darker than them, they would like to say that they're inferior in some sort of way. And the thing they say is that they're barbaric, that they're closer to the unevolved form of mankind, that because of their features, if you got a broad nose, y'all know the shit. It's always based on appearance. It's not based on nothing else. It's superficial as fuck. Right? If they don't understand a culture or a certain series of people, where they conduct themselves, they think it's inferior. If you don't have the kind of building type that they think you should have, they think you're underdeveloped. Hell, developing nations. Bullshit. Because some of those developing nations actually have superior technology to your technology. While you having all this fucking technology that's giving you cancer and all this bullshit, they was working in harmony with nature, which you should have just done to begin with. And they developed their mental capacity so these motherfuckers could do things that you can't do. You just can't fucking do. I don't want to go into the what we call the metaphysical, but shit. I'm just saying. Okay? I'm just saying. I'm going all over the place for you guys to understand where I'm coming from, because there's a lot of stuff I'm saying. A lot of stuff I'm saying. You know. So let me answer some more of this stuff. It seems that Terrell's the guy that was talking to me. And I'm not limited. It's not limited to Floyd Mayweather, obviously. It's not. You know what I mean? Terrell says the great white hype. I think you're talking about Tyson Fury. For some people, he's a great white hype. I know he's just a boxer. He ain't trying to get into that shit. And he's a good dude. I like Tyson Fury. Like I said before to people, just because he cheated doesn't mean I don't like him as a person. And he's a damn fucking good fighter. Okay? Tyson Fury is a very good fighter. Probably gonna be one of the greatest when all said and done. Tyler No says, hey, preach though. Wilder, my favorite fighter of all time. You speaking fights. Okay, good. I mean, if you like Deontay Wilder, man, more power to you. Because I like the dude. I hope that in the third fight he performed better. Maybe he loses, maybe he doesn't. I mean, I predicted Anthony Joshua would lose against Andy Ruiz the second time, and he proved me wrong. Maybe Wilder could prove me wrong. And maybe he don't knock out Tyson Fury. Somehow he get more points than him. I don't know. Probably drop him or something. I don't know. We'll see. But I like both guys. Tara No says, if Wilder or Broner behaved like Fury did against Klitschko, the hate train would never stop. Yes, sir. I totally agree with you. Tommy Temper is in the building. Big ups, Anson in chat. Big ups to you, Tommy Temper. You know we love boxing. You love boxing. I love boxing. We all love boxing. Bob Arum's been holding up fights for years. This ain't nothing new. This is true. This is true. We seen it with, he held up the fight with Pacquiao. Mayweather, that was one of the more prominent ones. But yeah, he tends to want to fight within his top rank stable, and that's about it. You know, like that's the way Bob Arum does it. He did it with Timothy Bradley as well, but Timothy Bradley didn't seem to have a problem with that. Yup. So anyway, back-to-back tough fights is not an easy thing to pull off. You know, and it is true, early in your career, trying to have back-to-back tough fights could really hurt you. Or it could build you. It could break you or it could build you. It depends on the learning curve. The thing about the tough fights is, if it's a drag-out, rock'em sock'em contest, it's a lot tougher on a fighter than someone who has defense. You know, recently I heard Sean Porter talk about that, you know, trying to be rock'em sock'em. And there was another guy who talked about that. Reggie Sprogray. You know, he said, you know, I need to keep my defense and shit. You know, if I had fought with better defense against the English fighter, I probably would have beaten him. And he's right. Defense is a very important thing in boxing. Let me bring your attention to Troy King once again, ladies and gentlemen. And you should check out Troy King and his channel. But I just wanted to drop some stuff on you guys with boxing, man. Shout out to Terrell Knox once again. Shout out to the following channels. Coach Eric Bradley, the Fight Doctor. I apologize, Coach Eric Bradley, for cussing like that all the time like a heap of swine. I'm trying to clean up my act. But you know, your channel talks real boxing. Okay, if you guys really want to know about boxing and learn boxing, Coach Eric Bradley, the Fight Doctor. Precision Striking, former boxer. Check that channel out. Carrie Williams, former boxer. Check that channel out for the fundamentals. King Troy Killertainment. Check that channel out for boxing. Oh shit, I always forget the other guys' names. Hidden Gem, check that channel out for breakdown on fights. Hidden Gem just recently put out Derevyanchenko versus Gennady Golovkin. The way how I describe it is different than the way how he describes it, but essentially we're saying the same thing. And then you got a series of other channels. I try to keep on promoting these channels to you guys out there. I'm sorry that you guys got to see my mug so much talking. I don't really like talking boxing. I really more like showing boxing. But for now, hey, another thing I might do is a simple little workout with you guys. A real simple little workout to get you guys energized on boxing. I'm going to do a live stream and a simple workout. Simpler than King Troy's workout and everything. Just real simple little things I do every day. And if you start doing them every day, it will build you strength-wise, build you health-wise as well, fitness-wise. And then you can move on to King Troy's stuff, which he does, which is fantastic. It gives you a really great workout. But if you haven't really been working out like that, it could put some pressure on you. What I would say, though, is if you're going to do these workouts, okay, ladies and gentlemen, if King Troy is doing like 4, 5, 6, 7 reps, you do 1 or 2. You know, if you got to pause, stop, take a breath, work to your pace. It must be enjoyable. Exercise is supposed to be relaxing and enjoyable. You're working the muscle groups, but you're supposed to be relaxing and enjoyable. I love that King Troy said that because I was kind of like really overworking myself. You need to relax. Let me show you something when you're throwing punches, okay? So I'm going to show you guys something because I see a lot of you guys. This is really sensitive. Okay. Alright, so let me show you guys something. My volume knob might go down. Okay. So when you're throwing a punch, oh, you can't see shit now. Oh man, I wish I had my camera stand. Let's see. Oh, this is gonna be hard to do. I gotta probably this camera somewhere. The lighting is such that it's gonna kind of fuck up the view. Anyway, I guess I'm just gonna try and demonstrate the best way I can, okay? Alright, so maybe I'll use the mirror. Right. So you see me right here in the mirror, right? Alright, good. So when you're gonna throw a punch, okay, don't tighten up your fist like this. Okay? Relax your fist. And then you throw the punch, you extend your hand and turn it over with your palm as relaxed as possible. But you're turning it over. You bring your hand back, make sure you get your elbows back down below here. And your hand to your chin. Protect your chin. You don't have to make a fist because when you make a fist, it slows down the punch. Alright, now I know in karate though, you know, they're taught to make a very tight fist. But here, when you get the boxing gloves in, your hand forms into a fist anyway. Okay? You want to keep your hand relaxed as possible until the point of impact where you tighten up. And then you release it back and bring that hand back to the guard. For speed, You want to get your hand as relaxed as possible. See how relaxed my hand is? Right, you turn it over. Okay, so that's for speed. And you don't need to go very, very fast. Just do it fluent and relax. Get into it. It's like a kata you're doing. You do it slow at first, and then you do it faster as time goes along. As you get familiar with it, your body will naturally go faster. You also don't put as much stress on your body because you're not contracting the muscles more than you need to contract them. All right. So I'm just telling you guys this because I've been doing training. My left arm is hurting me still on my shoulder area, but it just means I need to train more. Okay, and I slept a lot, so that was good. I gotta catch you guys later. I gotta go water the plants and shit. Sorry about all the cursing and stuff. I really want to stop cursing. I want to clean up my act, and sometimes I can, and sometimes I can't. This is one of those days I just couldn't. But I love you guys, and stay safe. Like I said before, okay, so giving you guys the quick tips. Early in the morning, like right now, if it's early in the morning for you, go get yourself a nice hot cup of green tea with a little bit of turmeric in it, just a little bit of turmeric, and a squeeze of lemon. You can use the green tea with honey. If you want, you can add in extra things. If you got moringa there, you can add in moringa. If you got garlic or you got ginger, you can add those in. It's very good to boost up your immune system for COVID-19. Okay? That's going around. And believe you me, the COVID-19 that's going around is not exactly what you think it is, but that's okay. That's cool. It's still going to boost your immune system. All right? Same thing. You need a boosted immune system for radiation. So if they get the 5G network online, which looks like it's inevitable, it's going to probably be, in the States at least, going to be low frequency bandwidths. It's higher frequency bandwidths than the 4G, but much broader frequency bandwidths. And then they may have to do medium or high frequency bandwidths. If they do the high frequency bandwidths, and they got a lot of them, remember these frequencies, which are similar to microwave frequencies, except not as powerful, they do interfere, like I said before, with your body because they're irregular frequencies. So again, look out for these black crystals you can get, which will offset that and protect you from those frequencies. Okay? I'm gonna catch you guys later. I gave you guys 2 tips. They're very important ones for the future and for some of you guys' health and well-being. Stay healthy, stay fit, and what you need. I'm out. Peace.